Hear Maestro Oshanin come back and conduct the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra together with the Orchestra of the Filipino Youth. And it will be a wonderful piece that you will hear by the Mexican composer Arturo Marquez. Now this piece is known as Danzón number 2, or Danzón número 2, I guess we would say in Mexico. And it has become a sort of El Sistema anthem. It gets played by Sistema-inspired youth orchestras all over the world because it has an exuberant Latin-flavored energy that is simply perfect for El Sistema's young players all over the world. Trisha, please come and tell us a little bit about your connection to the Mexican composer Arturo Marquez.
I would be happy to. I had the great fortune of visiting Arturo Marquez in his home in a beautiful little town called Tepoztlan outside of Mexico City. So in the course of my research and travels, I was seeing El Sistema in Mexico, and I went to see this famous man. He's the most important conductor and composer in Mexico, revered by many in Latin America and all over the world. And he writes, the pieces he writes are so perfect for El Sistema orchestras because they are so lively and vigorous. You'll hear. But let me just tell you a little bit about my conversation with Maestro Marquez. He told me that he had decided at the age of maybe 65 or so, which is right around the age he is, that he would retire. He would stop teaching at the university in Mexico City. He was going to go back to his little village in Tepoztlan and do nothing but compose. He said, I was going to sit in the garden in the afternoon and sip a drink, listen to the birds, and compose. But he discovered that in his little town of Tepoztlan, there was no children's orchestra. And that was so upsetting to him that he decided, well, I better make one myself. So he and his wife together put together an El Sistema Children's Orchestra in his village in Tepoztlan. And he started to write music for them and conduct them and teach them. And it was so exciting to him to work with these young people, these developing young musicians, that he started to work full-time and go in other places in the country and form El Sistema bands there. And so he said to me, I guess I didn't retire, did I? I'm working harder than ever. One of the pieces that he wrote recently that I want to tell you about is called Alas a Malala. He wrote it last year for Malala, who was a young 18-year-old girl in Pakistan who was advocating for women's right to education and was shot. She wasn't killed, but shot and injured. And so he wrote a piece as a tribute to her called Wings to Malala, in Spanish, Alas a Malala. If you go to YouTube and look up that piece, you'll be very moved to hear it. You'll also be able to go to YouTube and look up Danzón number 2 with the Simón Bolívar Orchestra. But this live performance is going to be the best of all.
Okay, so please welcome back the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra and Maestro Oshanin and our piano soloist, 12-year-old Brian Berino. Here they come for Marquez. Danzón número 2.